is Jennifer. She is a 15-year-old Year 10 student who attends her local public high school. Her favourite subjects are art and music, though Jennifer's grades have been in rapid decline and she is openly oppositional. When teachers have tried to contact home, they have had no success, and they believe this is a result of Jennifer's parents' ongoing divorce. None of Jennifer's family have attended university, as she comes from a low socioeconomic family. Jennifer is facing 3 immediate identifiable issues. These are underperformance, oppositional attitude, and social disadvantage in the form of her parents' divorce and her low socioeconomic status.
Jennifer's teachers have noticed her results beginning to fall lower than usual, and these results are becoming consistently lower. As a result of this, Jennifer has recognised that her results are falling and is losing her own sense of worth. Jennifer is losing her motivation within the school environment as she believes she cannot improve and is struggling to learn and concentrate within the classroom. Jennifer believes that teachers do not care about her learning needs, and she is, as a result, losing motivation. Jennifer is also often very tired in class and due to a lack of sleep. This tiredness is resulting in her results falling also. Jennifer is disengaged with the teachers and what is being taught. Jennifer is often disobedient against teachers' instructions. Due to Jennifer's low socioeconomic status, Jennifer is unable to access many of the resources that other students can readily access. This may include a home computer, internet, or social factors such as school excursions. Jennifer is in an environment where she doesn't have high expectations surrounding her schooling. As a result of this, Jennifer is unable to set the same goals and aspirations as her peers, which ultimately is affecting her school results along with her well-being. From a holistic approach, the teacher and student will need to recognise that there is a problem within Jennifer's behaviour and schooling results. The student, being Jennifer, needs to want to achieve better, along with working collaboratively with the teacher to achieve better results. Jennifer needs to recognise that the teacher is there for her benefit. These are the first steps to seeking improvement. Jennifer will need to discuss and engage cooperatively with the teacher in order to achieve their desired outcomes. The student will have an intention to do well at school. The student should be setting goals within the classroom and having intentions to meet these goals. And if for any reason there are reasons restricting these goals, such as external factors, the student will be seeking guidance and assistance from either their classroom teacher or the school's welfare team in order to address these external factors. These external factors could include social issues, along with negative family impacts. The student should be aiming to actively participate in all class practices and activities. Along with this, the student should be setting a routine to ensure they are gaining enough sleep. This will lead to motivation within the classroom. The student may wish to set up a plan with their teacher and to ensure these routines are followed. The student should also be seeking to attend school earlier in the mornings, as the school offers a free breakfast for all students. This will ensure that the student is getting the required amounts of energy to fulfill their day. This will enable the student to have a sufficient intake of energy and nutrition, allowing the student to be more awake during lessons and maintain more energy throughout their school day.
Jennifer and her issues can have impacts on the classroom. Her underperformance can take time away from the class, lunch, or free time. During this time, Jennifer's teachers must focus solely on her, leaving the rest of the class to their own devices. Students may be too young to understand the notion of equity over equality, and suggest that all the time spent on Jennifer is unfair. Time away from the class as a whole can severely impact on how much new content is covered each lesson. This is vital in the HSE year when every piece of information counts. If Jennifer must see a teacher at lunch or after school, this also impacts on her social interactions with her fellow students. Underperformance can also have an effect on the class during the HSE, as poor performers can have a negative effect, thus scaling the rest of the class's mark down. Oppositional attitudes towards teachers is another issue of Jennifer's that has an effect on the classroom. Besides the obvious immediate effect of distracting the classroom, Jennifer's opposition can cause greater widespread opposition. It is documented by B.J. Casey and Lawrence Steinberg that the adolescent mind is one that seeks sensations. It is suggested that peer approval causes the brain to release feel-good hormones. This means that Jennifer's oppositional attitude can spread among her peers, particularly her friends, as they unconsciously participate in sensation seeking through Jennifer's approval. Jennifer's social disadvantage also affects her within the classroom. This is because, according to Cawthorn, Kulumar, and Garahai, teachers believe students' issues stem from home. If teachers perceive that students have issues at home, then they tend to become more strict towards those students. This leads to increased misbehavior, which increases the level of strictness, which goes on, creating a vicious cycle. Behavior intervention plans can be used to assist Jennifer get back on the straight and narrow. Behavior intervention plans, or BIPs, are effective plans used by individual teachers. Kilu suggests that good behavior intervention plans consist of 10 core elements. Firstly, a functional behavior assessment. This assesses student behavior and isolates what specifically needs to be changed. The second element is to assess the antecedent variables and setting events. This refers to the fact that if a teacher can control events and settings, their plan will be more effective. The next element is to establish the validity of reinforcers. In this, Kilu recommends to use reinforcers as a process rather than an event. Another core function of a BIP is to describe and specify target behaviors. Clear and specific terms eliminates confusion if the plan is to be intended to read by other teachers. Consistent data collection is another core component. This is to reveal true results, not just what they are perceived to be. Kilu lists generalization and maintenance as a core part of a BIP. This is so criteria can be altered to suit events and behavior. An important element which can often be overlooked is the supply of sufficient time, staff, and resources. BIPs can be seen as the problem of a single teacher. However, if they receive the aforementioned support, BIPs can raise in effectiveness. The last three elements are arguably the most important when creating a behavior intervention plan. Kilu notes that the focus of a behavior intervention plan must be on the demonstrated change, not just talk. This refers to the fact that when questioned about desired behaviors, students may be able to supply the correct answer. However, they may not display the knowledge physically. Teachers must focus on a student's demonstrated behavioral changes when they aren't being directly assessed. The next element crucial to the success of a behavior intervention plan is to accurately and consistently implement the plan. Kilu suggests that if accurate and consistent plans are implemented, it increases effectiveness. But when this is done in collaboration with other teachers across various classrooms, results improve dramatically. Last but not least, and most importantly to a student like Jennifer, is the recommendation that a behavior intervention plan must not be focused on behavior alone, but must also address academic needs of the student. Addressing student skill deficits are crucial to achieving a holistic intervention strategy.
Using school-wide positive behaviour intervention support is a multi-tiered framework that guides the school with the goal of improving both behaviour and academic outcomes for all students. Schools that implement this accurately, clearly define, teach and reinforce school-wide expectations by making database decisions to monitor intervention and student responses. It also differentiates levels of support in response to student needs. This intervention is organised into 3 tiers of support. These concepts are components of collaborative problem solving, a cognitive behavioural model of intervention. It provides staff with the skills to truly hear students' concerns. In particular, it helps students feel valued, heard and understood. It's about ensuring that kids receive consistent, compassionate, effective help and care. At the individual level, it dramatically improves the relationship between staff, students, and helps students trust that their concerns are going to be heard and addressed. Also, it provides teachers with a sense of comfort in knowing that they have the skills to do something about problems presented by their students. Also, staff learn different ways of understanding challenging behaviour, communicating with challenging students, and working together to durably solve the problems that set challenging behaviours into motion. This framework incorporates existing good practice and provides an agreed approach to help schools address issues of misbehaviour. For example, Green argues behaviourally challenging kids are lacking crucial developmental skills. Rather than stating that a student has opposition or defiant disorder, adults can now consider and identify the lagging skills that contribute to the behaviours that comprise the disorder. If students with challenging behaviour lack crucial developmental skills, then we can respond to their difficulties in much the same way that we respond to academic learning challenges. If it's lagging skills that contribute to challenging behaviour, then school staff can be empowered to help these students rather than rely on explanations that leave them largely powerless to intervene. If school faculty focus on identifying the lagging skills that underlie students' challenging behaviour, then their understanding can be more compassionate and more accurate. Accordingly, this program can focus on teaching lagging skills and solving problems rather than on incentive-based interventions and punitive procedures such as detention, suspension, and expulsion. In this environment, students internalize positive attitudes and values associated with school and exhibit greater motivation. According to self-determination theory, needs for autonomy, competency, and relatedness are intertwined that self-directed behaviour is facilitated to support and satisfy each of the student's psychological needs. Therefore, by applying self-determination theory to this intervention, it supplies adults with a process for facilitating strong connections with students that can positively affect school belonging and psychological growth and development. This suggests that students will be propelled to their natural propensity for growth and will be more interested in learning and have greater appreciation for school when their needs to be autonomous, competent, and related are supported by adults within the school. Attachment theory suggests the student-teacher relationship is an extension of the parent-child relationship, which provides a foundation for students' social, emotional, and cognitive regulation at school. The quality of student attachment provides a basis for interpreting and influencing their future social interactions that could potentially affect the perception of the school as a psychologically healthy environment. For example, Jennifer's loss of a parent following their divorce may lead to higher rates of academic and behavioural problems, which increase her risk of being pushed out of school, compared to children residing in intact or married households. Following parental divorce, children are more likely to be held back, earn lower grades, and have lower overall performance. This creates a low sense of school belonging, which undermines the authority of school personnel to deal effectively with behavioural issues and in turn leads to increases in misbehaviour. Similarly, Jennifer is a low-achieving student who is aware that her performance falls short of societal expectations and has reactively engaged in internalising and externalising her problem behaviours. This reciprocal relationship can have severe ramifications on her school engagement. For example, her poor academic functioning may be particularly indicative of deviance and maladjustment. Endemic to this context are pressures to perform and gain entrance to universities. Potentially, her poor performance is attributable to widespread pressure causing her to engage in a variety of deviant activities. Aside from links between deviant behaviours of an externalizing nature and academic competence, there are cross-domain perspective links between internalizing problems such as depression and anxiety. Such procedures can lead to serious emotional damage and oppositional behaviour from students, which tends to engender desires for revenge, feelings of anger, and loss of faith in formerly trusted school personnel. This is a disconcerting challenge for schools, and it has been linked with teacher emotional exhaustion, causing distress, negative attitudes, and feelings of helplessness. Further, belongingness hypothesis asserts that individuals seek relationships from a variety of sources including family, peers, and school in order to meet the need for a sense of attachment or connection with others. Unfortunately, when relationships among adolescents become strained, it may not be conducive to building and maintaining a strong sense of belonging. Accordingly, when instances of misbehaviour occur, schools need to reassert their power and provide reassurance to the public that as authority symbols they maintain control of students. Unfortunately, this symbolic function of reassuring the public that school is a safe place for students is an assertion of school control and power, which require compliance on part of the student. However, this can set the stage for more conflict, as most students today are neither passive nor blindly compliant. If students feel powerless, caged, and stifled by the school environment, they may become frustrated and lose incentive to adhere to the school norms for acceptable behaviour.
Using the 3 suggested intervention strategies that are aimed at 3 tiers, student, classroom, and school, Jennifer can begin to bridge the gap with her fellow students. Though she may not be able to change her social disadvantage, there is the possibility that the aforementioned interventions can help Jennifer become less oppositional and achieve better grades.